Kemper Profiler, Tones and Talks. Hello, everybody. We are still in in season 5 and coming up episode 17, if I'm correct. And we're going to look at another classic piece of guitar tone hardware today. And this wouldn't make any sense if I do it. But of course, we have Mr. Thomas Dill with us. He knows the machines and he knows how to bring us the specialties across, and then also tries to bring them into the profiler. So hi Thomas, how are you?
I'm fine. Hi Tom.
So today is going to be a special one because first of all I think you would have the challenge to bring the noise. As they said in this Aerosmith, no, it was Anthrax and Chucky D or something. Anyways, bringing the noise. And the second thing is it doesn't sound like the real one. That's what especially a friend of mine tells me very often. An old colleague of mine, also from the software industry, said, it doesn't sound like the original. And Christoph is always saying it sounds like the original. So what will we find out, Thomas? What do you say? First of all, don't say anything about this. Just let us know what this whole thing will be about today.
Yeah, it's about the Boss CE-1. The mighty classic chorus effect. And I have a personal relationship to this effect pedal because it was the first effect that I owned. So I think it was Christmas 81 when I got this nice CE-1, but this is not the one that I have here. I've unfortunately sold it sometimes for I don't know what. But I bought it again in 2007 or 2008 in Hamburg, by the way, near the Reeperbahn in a shop. They had one, and yes, I purchased it, and it's mine, and I won't sell it ever. So this is the one thing. But the other thing is, do I use it that much? Not that much. Because of some different things. Sometimes I use it for comparisons, and sometimes when the classic CE-1 tone is needed, I use it. But I think there's a really nice setup in the profiler effects, the vintage chorus. And this is the thing that we want to do today, to check out how close can we get to the original one. And something what we need to say is when you compare that to new effects or digital effects to old effects, the older ones, they sound different from the year they were made, from the version they have. So you can't really say it's the original one because there are many original ones. So this is just the comparison to my CE-1. I think it's from some early 80s. Okay, Tom, do you have something to add to that?
Not really, because I never owned one. I knew long time ago, I knew someone who had one, and I tried it, and it was so-so, and it was already big and heavy. And later I learned that basically it's the concept of the jazz chorus amp.
Yes.
As well. And this is also a reference for us, a special reference, because that might become of relevance in a couple of episodes from now. So, anyways, speaking in riddles makes no sense. So, whenever I heard it, I really liked the sound and the tone with players who used it. Otherwise, I never had one, and I always had a thing with chorus, which is sometimes in mixing and processing stuff, it was all right, but this modulation thing with guitar, and so a little bit was fine. So I was not too much into this. But anyways, that's just me, and that's not relevant.
It was the 80s. The 80s was chorus overload, and I think in the 90s and since 2005, you won't use chorus that much. But nowadays it's okay. It's a return of the 80s sound, so chorus is hip these days. And yeah, we can start with some informations about the CE-1. Wait a minute. Where are we? Here we are. So this is the one. Boss CE-1, the big chorus box. And it was released in 1976. And it had the same circuit, you said it already, Tom, as the Roland JC-120 amp. It combines a chorus and a vibrato effect. And it has a preamp where many guitar players look for this typical colorization of the tone with the preamp sound. So, and it can overdrive this this chorus effect, or without the chorus, you can use it as an overdrive if you crank up the level. So where we are at the controls now, so we have a level control for the preamp, then intensity for the chorus effect, and then depth for the vibrato and rate for the vibrato. You can switch between chorus and vibrato with the right foot switch, and with the left foot switch you can switch between effect and bypass. So here are some different models. So the chorus, I think they've built it since 1984, and then they had the following versions, the CE2, CE3, the smaller versions. And Warm Audio released, I think was last year, a CE1 clone, the Warm Chorus Vibrato, and another one is from Past Effects, which is highly recommended in the guitar effect scene, the Chorus Ensemble. And there is, I think, a Behringer chorus for €79. I don't heard it today, but yeah, some people say that it sounds really good. So the users are, of course, John Frusciante playing very often the CE-1 and used it on stage and in studio. Johnny Marr from The Smith. And we said that many 80s recordings were played or recorded with the Boss CE-1. So going to my pedal, I can show you the one. So this is my new old CE-1. I will show you some sounds. So first of all, the preamp. Now the effect is bypassed, and you can really crank it up. It has a high and low. So this is only overdrive from the Boss chorus. But I'm using that in clean mode. And turning it on, we have the chorus on. So this intensity combines two parameters. It's the rate speeds up, and the depth is higher. So the pitch modulation is higher. And then when you switch to the vibrato, you get this is the slowest speed. So we have speed or rate here and the depth. So really nice, warm chorus and vibrato sound. And yeah, as a starting point, I would try the 9 o'clock setting with every knob here. Level is at the noon position. And we are starting with the chorus and checking how the vintage chorus sounds like compared to this original Boss chorus. So this is the sound of the Boss chorus. And I will switch over to the rig manager. Here we are. So this is my setup. As you can see, the chorus is placed in the first loop mono. So I'm using it in mono now in front of the amp because you said that already, Tom. It has a kind of stereo effect, but it's not a real stereo effect. I come to that later, and starting using it in mono because many guitar players use that one in mono. And I don't place it in front of the profiler because it has this colorization of the preamp. So I'd really like to have it in the loop. And I will switch between those both chorus effects via morphing. So you can see the mix level of the loop mono, so the Boss chorus, the red one, is at 100%, and my vintage chorus is at 0%. So it's off. When I switch to the morph sound, I have the vintage chorus on and the loop off. But before that, my amp is the Marshall Plexi from my liquid profiler pack and set to low gain. Yeah, the normal setting that I use very often. A little bit of reverb, just tiny room, and that's it. So the starting point of the vintage chorus here is the setting, the CE-1 preset. You find that in the chorus, vintage chorus, and here's the preset CE-1. So you can see it's rate 3.5, 5 depth, mix level at maximum, crossover minimum, ducking in the middle. So this is the one here when I have blue, the morph sound. So turning that off again. Now, listening to the Boss chorus. Listening to the vintage chorus. So for me,
that's pretty good.
Sounds really close. The
Indeed.
only difference. So whoever did that preset, he did a great job on that. And great job on making this vintage chorus without noise. So here, the original one, you hear the noise in the background. And that's the difference. No noise. But also getting this really warm chorus tone. So it's a great starting point. So I don't need to do anything to fine-tune something, but if you want to have, so this is the next step, if you want to have a higher setting, so let's see, we're going back to the chorus. Wait a minute, here. So taking the CE-1, and let's say we're going to 3 o'clock, the intensity setting. So the chorus is faster and more intense, the depth is higher. So we need to change 2 parameters from our basic setting from the vintage chorus. So going back to the rig manager, here we are. So I would say, listening to the loop mono, the chorus, it's when you're testing these chorus or modulation effects, just play one note and focus on 2 things. The first thing is the speed or the tempo of the modulation. So that one needs to be replaced here. So something about 6, I think. Yes. Yeah, okay, closed. And then the depth. So this is the tuning or the pitch shifting, pitch modulation, how far it's going to. That one I was bending the string. So just focus on that tone. Next one. Can be a little bit more. Maybe 7. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so blue is the vintage chorus. Boss chorus. So I think it's okay. So if you like to have more intense sounds from the vintage chorus to the same as the boss chorus, so yes, you need to go up with rate and treble, rate and depth. Tom, you thought that's quite close to the original?
Absolutely, I'm awed because I never tried to get into this because, as I said, I'm not so much, a chorus guy. But I know, as I said, some friends who are really, no, that's not the correct word, particular about that. And I always hear them complaining, and I'm awed now because it's so identical, except for songs, the noise, of course.
Yes, a little bit noise and maybe a little bit the tone, but really very, very close.
Yeah, the basic character, and that's all these devices. You said it already. Back in the days, you switch, I don't know, the brand of resistors or capacitors, and you get slightly different basic tone. Yeah, but spot on, I think.
Of course. Next challenge is to get the vibrato sound. So we don't have the vintage chorus vibrato. So this is a bit more tricky. And here we go. I'm starting with the original one. Here we are. And again, now I have switched on. You see it, it's faster here. The vibrato. Yes, I'm in the. So starting with this 9 o'clock setting and going to the rig manager. Here we are. And vibrato mono. So here we are. I have took the vibrato effect, and this is my first result for that sound. Original and the vibrato. As you can hear, it sounds different. And the first thing is, let's look at the settings. So here we don't have the mix parameter. I turned the depth at 0, so the effect is off, and all the others at 0 too. So now we have the vibrato on, and this is the setting of the original of the CE-1. And just checking the rate and depth parameters, if they are okay. So just again, one note. Tempo is okay, and the pitch modulation also. So the problem is that this is not that rich chorusy tone when you play a chord. And I thought, to get that, why not turning the vintage chorus on at a slower rate setting and a little depth in with 3.2, so not that much. And the mix level, when I turn it on, is at 40%, and this is how it sounds like. Maybe a little bit more of the chorus. Yes. So with that setting, we're not nailing the tone as with the vintage chorus, but we're getting close. And again, when I'm playing these chords, the Chili Peppers chords of Under the Bridge, where John Frusciante uses the chorus, but with a faster setting. So checking that one, I think he had something like, I would say, yes, this one, this setting. Okay, now checking this sound and speed with the profiler effects. So here we are. And again, we need to turn up the rate and depth. And I thought about something, let's check it, 7 rate. Original. I will turn off the chorus here. Yes, it's fast, and we definitely need to turn up the depth at 7. Now turning on the vintage chorus. And this is the original. Profiler. Pretty close. we can raise the mix level a little bit of the chorus. Original. So yes, so these settings are also pretty close. I will store that so that you can have all this stuff available at the rig exchange. Yes, so I think this challenge is okay. Now let's go to the stereo setup. And I need to change and plug one cable into the chorus.
No problem. Take your time. I think there was a little bit of I don't know how to explain it. This one tone. So I thought maybe it's a formant thing of one tone that was a little bit different with the profiler, and after I heard it on the profiler and didn't like it, and you switched back to the CE-1, the original one, I found it there as well, but it was a little bit more covered.
Yes.
So I think that's this depth thing, and with certain notes, this depth thing does a different, is triggered in a different way. So there are frequencies that get a little bit more present, and with other frequencies it's not so audible. So I think that's the point. And I thought maybe because I played Under the Bridge very often back in the day, and listened to it also very often, that I thought maybe John Frusciante has a mix level which the device doesn't have. So maybe he has something on this pedal board where he can blend a little bit, because I realized now that the CE-1 is either on or in bypass. There's no mix level.
No.
Is that correct?
And if it's on, the preamp is also on. So you get a really the level of the CE-1 is a little bit lower, so you can reduce the gain on your amps. And some people use that to reduce the gain, or to play with that preamp stuff. And also it has a warmer tone when you play it. And very important, you can't, or you shouldn't, play directly with magnetic pickups into the CE-1, because it was made for keyboards, not for high Z instruments. And you get a treble cut when you play directly into the CE-1. So many people recommend to use a buffer in front of it. So a tuner, can be a tuner or something else. Or
Okay.
normally you have effects pedal in front of a chorus. If you're using, you won't use the chorus alone. And this is something to think about. So you have less gain when you play with that one, at least if you haven't a mix level or something to boost it up behind. So I switched here to get the right comparison, had the rig level a little bit up to balance out these two sounds with the chorus and the normal vintage chorus of the profiler.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting, because you can use it as a reversed solo switch then, basically,
Yes.
for your old amps, where you were always fighting for control about, rhythm and, lead tone and stuff like that. So that's pretty interesting. And okay, so this was designed maybe for something like the Fender Rhodes or so.
The Rhodes, yes, they thought. I think it was that way. They thought, okay, the guitar players have the JC-120, and they have that chorus sound, and giving that to synth players or definitely Rhodes players. We have the pedal, and they didn't think about that the guitar players use that. Maybe.
Yeah. So maybe that's the constant weird fate of Roland and the Roland managers and advisors and CEOs and whatever with their decisions. There's a lot of Roland stuff, which was basically meant to be for something completely different, and regardless, the community took it and turned it into what they thought should be done with it, and that's pretty interesting, because I think there's no company with so many lucky failures or so.
Yes, many, but it's always also with the wah pedal. So was maybe designed for trumpet-style sounds to get this wah, 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 wah effect, and the guitar players take it. So as always,
Yeah.
if it
wonderful.
makes noise, if it makes weird sounds, we take it.
Right.
Okay, now let's go to the stereo sound.
Yeah.
I have hooked it up in stereo and switching to the rig manager. Here we are. Stereo. Now we have the loop stereo. And again, the red one is the CE-1 with the chorus setting at 9 o'clock. So the first one. Here we are, and then the vintage chorus with the basic preset, CE-1 preset. And it sounds very different, and this is because of the stereo sound of the boss chorus. So the stereo is that way that you have is the same as on the JC-120, where you have one speaker without the effect and one speaker with the effect. So it's not a stereo setup, it's I think the first dry wet setup. And the same is in the boss chorus here. So we have the mono out, or the effect out is at the mono out, and or I think it's this mono. So just one. One is with effect, the other one is without effect. I can show you that. I hope I can show you that. Checking it with the rig manager. So this is, no. Yes, you hear the left side. The effect with more. And now the right side. Wait a minute, I need to turn out the cable. This is the right side. No, the wrong one. This is the one. So this is the output without effect. So, and this is the reason why it's sounding different to the vintage chorus, because of the because the vintage chorus is stereo. So wait a minute.
Could you show the picture of the chorus?
Yes, of course.
The device, so that people see the, and I also the cable. So it's it's the left two are the outputs, and
no, this is input. Mono out. Stereo out. Wait.
Stereo out as a stereo out, like a TRS cable.
No. No, no,
Or
no. It's let's say it's output one, output two,
okay, okay.
and if you only use one output, then you only you have the effect on this output, on the mono output,
Ah, okay.
and this additional output, if you use it to play with two caps or two guitar amps, this one is with the dry signal.
All right. Okay.
So you have
Yeah, yeah.
left the effect signal, if we have take this one as a left one, and this is the dry signal here. So not a wide stereo effect, just effect and dry. So yeah, wet, dry.
All right. And that's what it says on this little bubbly
Yes.
label as well. Oh, and that's also the point where it's like the jazz chorus amp, because I learned that this chorus effect basically is just on one speaker, because the jazz chorus amp has stereo power amp. So that's why it sounds so wide, because just one side is, weird. And so it was always the thing, okay, and that's how I learned it, because when I was doing PA stuff and miking guitar amps on stage, you didn't care. Only
when you have the jazz chorus amp.
Yeah, and only when somebody said, well, this speaker is this blah blah blah, so please use this one on the 4x12 or 2x12 cabinet. And with these typical combos with two 12 inches, like a Fender reverb or stuff like that, it's either the left or the right. But with the jazz chorus, if you had just the effect one, you always had this wobbly thing the whole
Very
time, and so you had to get the full thing. You would have to sacrifice two microphones and two channels for the jazz chorus amp, which was very unpopular back in the day, when microphones, cables, and especially mixer channels were really expensive.
Was not available. That the guitar player could have two channels for his jazz chorus amp.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Okay, so this is the reason why why we can't really create this typical stereo sound, and this is maybe the reason that many people use it in mono in front of the stack, and it has a specific vibe when you place that one in front of the stack. So vintage chorus in front is really great to have then. We don't need that. If you like to have that stereo sound, so take it.
Yeah, because that's basically, the tip to the head of the 80s, the real 80s, when all this hairspray gentlemen, it was 98% gentlemen, were using their racks, and they were having, the stereo chorus stuff, because that was not the CE-1 then anymore, because they had these 19-inch things, and they always had stereo chorus from the then, maybe the 80s Roland devices, like, or from Boss and stuff like that. And I think I had once for
that we had also SC.
Yeah, the TC. This was pretty.
Ranger and the TC effects.
Yeah, that was pretty popular.
This stereo stuff.
Right, and I think because I remember, but maybe not, because I had some Boss thing, but not this light blue version of the CE2 or something. I don't know. It doesn't matter. But so, of course. And it's not the identical thing, but it's a great stereo sounding chorus, if you're into chorus. Yeah.
So, okay. But I think, so from my perspective, the vintage chorus does a great job and is, of course, a good replacement for this big green pedal.
Absolutely. And the interesting thing is also, when you were doing Under the Bridge, that you used two of them to basically get even more bandwidth with the possibilities there, and that's pretty interesting as well. Very nice approach, and I think a lot of people out there will be happy about that suggestion. And yeah, of course, you guys try this at home. This will be available on the Rig Manager, of course, as usual. And yeah, I don't want to cut you short. If you have anything additional to say, some experiences and anecdotes about the CE-1 pedal, the famous one. Did you take it with you on stage on a pedal board,
Yes.
or was this more
In
a thing in the
old
studio?
days, I had I was 16, yes, 16, and had a tube screamer, a phaser. This phaser I have this phaser of cheap walk phaser, and I don't know if, what company that was, but it worked, and this CE-1, and that was my sound for 2-3 years, and I think it was at that time when I was playing in a funk band and didn't need that much high gain distorted sounds, and I bought a Roland Jazz Chorus amp. And then I thought, okay, I have this chorus in this amp and I will sell that because I need the money. And that was the time, I think, when I was selling the first CE-1 that I had. I was really lucky to have come back to Hamburg and see. It was just, I went to this shop and saw in a glass thing the Boss chorus. And I didn't think, oh yes, I like to buy it, but didn't have the money available that time. And then I came back, I think 2 or 3 months later. And I said to my wife, okay, I will go to the Reeperbahn to this music shop.
Don't you dare.
I will go to the Reeperbahn, to this music shop, and see if they have the CE-1. And it was there, and I bought it then.
Oh, okay, wonderful.
So lucky story of that one.
Yeah, pretty cool. And for everyone who has access to the Ruhr area in Germany right now, I think it's a funny coincidence, because there's a famous store which is called Secondhand Music Land right now. Mm-hmm. And I just remember, I think a couple of days I saw that they have some amazing amp deals there. And the JC-120, pre-owned by Rodrigo González, from the famous German band Die Ärzte, is available for a small amount of money. So Secondhand Music Land in Germany, in Herne, Wanne-Eickel, Herne, Douai. That might be something interesting for the vintage lovers. Okay, yeah, wonderful. Please, you guys, try this at home. Play around with the chorus effect and what it can do for you. I mean, it's really cool for, making things a little bit bigger, and also for mixing, it's amazing. If you want to make things stereo, stuff like that. And and if you want to have the classic thing, put it in front of the amp. Wonderful. Okay. Thanks again, Thomas, for this, and as usual, very meticulously informed. And thanks for that, and see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.